Nikon has been missing in action with Sony and Canon dominating the headlines. With the launch of the Nikon Z9, that's all about to change. The Nikon Z9 may be late for the pro mirrorless party, but it sure knows how to make an entrance. Nikon claims that its delay allowed it to fully develop a top-level mirrorless design, particularly the Z-mount, which has the largest throat diameter and shortest flange distance of any full-frame system. Well, the wait was all worth it. The Nikon Z9 has some pretty fierce features, most of which will stun you. So despite the setback, has Nikon done enough to produce the greatest professional camera? The Nikon Z9 is a cutting-edge professional camera with incredible speed, impressive detail, and 8K video capabilities. With this camera, Nikon is also breaking new ground. It's the first ever mirrorless model without a mechanical shutter, relying instead on a quick sensor to avoid the jello effect that an electronic shutter might cause. Is the Nikon Z9 worth buying? Keep watching until the end of the video to find out. Welcome back to our channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Despite being Nikon's new flagship photo camera, it's also their best video camera yet, and possibly the most powerful video camera in the mirrorless world. However, the Nikon Z9 does have a few drawbacks. Nikon shooters will be familiar with the ergonomics, and the Z9 has more than enough buttons. The controls are good in general. The menus have remained unchanged, and so has the design. This camera now seems to have more options, which is great, but they can still be difficult to find at times. Accidental button presses are the major ergonomic issues here. Finally, this camera is quite heavy, and not only because of the pro body style. After a few minutes of shooting, you'll notice that the Z9 weighs 1,340 grams or around 3 pounds. The weight actually helps with stabilization, and it seems well made. It also includes a sensor protector despite the absence of a mechanical shutter. It features two CF Express Type B card slots, which can be used for backup recording in photos but unfortunately not in video. You may however record both internally and externally simultaneously, and the camera allows you to enable menus and on-screen display information on the external monitor, also in 4K, with neither screen blacking out in any combination. It's something that Sony and Canon are still working on. It's really impressive. It also has a full-size Type A HDMI port. They also corrected the issue with output lag, so the HDMI and LCD are now visually in sync and quickly respond. The screen has also improved. Its main axis range of motion has been enhanced, and a portrait tilt has been introduced, which is useful in getting those low or high vertical shots. After all of these enhancements, you are still unable to use zebras and focus peaking at the same time. They have included manual focus functionality, although it is currently limited to selected lenses, but there seems to be several bugs. For example, you can set or disable a focus override, which lets you manually focus at any moment during autofocus by simply turning the focus ring. However, this only works with specific lenses and appears to be bugged. Even though you disable the override in the menu and even mistakenly twisting the focus ring disables autofocus for a short time, this creates issues and must be addressed as quickly as possible. The ability to program a linear focus and throw distance in degrees is another new feature. This is a terrific and must-have option. It opens up a lot of customization and makes Nikon a promising manual focusing choice. The USB-C port provides power delivery, which allows the camera to be charged while it is turned off, but also to reduce the battery's discharge when being used. When you connect a USB PD, this camera can be used for hours and hours. It's commendable how Nikon sets out the resolution and frame rates. You can choose the frame rate you want from a list regardless of whether you shoot PAL or NTSC, but there are no selections for DCI or true 24p. When switching to autofocus, it still struggles with low light. Overexposure, on the other hand, is not a problem at all. Even if your subject is entirely unclear, you can maintain focus. However, the lens you use makes a big difference. The inconsistency in lens performance, selection, and menu functionality when it comes to focusing is definitely the biggest issue with Nikon as of the moment. However, you will enjoy all of the video tracking options. You can track people, animals, and vehicles using eye detection, and it includes an auto mode that cleverly switches between them. It has ports at 3.5mm microphone in and headphone out, as well as menu controls for microphone level, frequency range, and an attenuator for hotter microphones. Enjoying this video so far? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. On this camera, the in-body image stabilization or IBIS works well. It's not a vlogging camera and you won't achieve any gimbal results with it, but combining the weight of this system and the IBIS controls is indeed a fine humid tripod experience. The sport mode is more recommended than the normal. But how awesome is it that this camera can record ProRes internally? Also, the Z9 self-sufficiency is incredible. Finally, both external and internal ProRes compared to the H265 internal are half a stop worse for noise. However, if you look at the charts again, you'll notice that the H265 has no less detail than the ProRes, thus the noise reduction isn't so severe that it's affecting detail. So far, it's a great way for cleaning up your shadows in camera. In general, the Z9 is a good camera. Nikon's flat profile is among the best in the business for a mostly finished image with phenomenal accurate color that only needs a contrast change in post to suit your tastes. Then there's N-Log, which is now possible thanks to Nikon's LUT updates. They also have a Z9 version that you may download. Sometimes it can be a little punchy, but if you expose neutrally, it can produce a decent shot in just one step. If you prefer the ETT or the Leeming LUT for Nikon, actually works pretty well with the Z9 and provides a wonderful look. While moving through the ISO range, you'll be happy with the outcomes in terms of exposure. At most stops, noise is well controlled and the camera may be used up to and beyond ISO 12800. No problems at all with the way detail, color integrity, and tone were maintained as the ISO was elevated. Clearly, overexposing will improve noise performance, but aside from the aforementioned autofocus restrictions, there is no problem with using this camera in low light with neutral exposure. It ticks all the boxes in every category. It's a machine that's exceptionally robust and efficient, passing or excelling in every aspect. There are a few ergonomic issues, but this is a pretty great release from Nikon, who weren't particularly competitive in the video arena until now. That argument no longer stands because Nikon now offers one of, if not the finest, hybrid mirrorless cameras for video with the Z9. The Nikon Z9 is the most versatile professional camera we've ever seen. Its 45.7MP stills resolution sets it on the line with the Sony A1, and its 8K 30p appears to be capable of recording for as long as you like, a long shot from its competitors. It lacks the capacity to record full RAW files at market standard speeds, and the scorching 120fps bursts of only 11MP appear limited at first sight. When seen in the context of who this camera is meant for though, this is perfectly acceptable and even preferred by many. After returning home with 132GB of data after shooting a basketball game, the possibility of smaller file sizes is exactly what professionals desire. In comparison to the A1 and Canon EOS R3, the autofocus has a long journey ahead of it, and it usually struggles to maintain tracking with unpredictable human subjects. Compared to previous DSLR technology, earning a silver badge in this area is the same as earning a platinum star. The Z9 is unmatched as a professional hybrid body, and the scales will even shift further in its favor once the firmware provides the guaranteed 8K 60p and ProRes RAW. In view of both power and pricing, the Z9 is the easy pick for professionals. What are your thoughts? Do you think the Nikon Z9 camera is worth buying? Please let us know in the comments section below. And if you love the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching!